Welcome, guys. We are going to play Civil War Jeopardy. The first question we're going to start with is in the orange column, and what I want you to do is get out a piece of paper, and you're going to number 1 through 20. So we are going to start with the orange column, Civil for 100, and you may use your notes, so if you need to pause the video at any time, you may, and you will be allowed to go back and press play again and go to the next question. So, Civil for 100. Who is this person? An abolitionist and former slave who became a conductor on the Underground Railroad. She led 300 slaves to freedom after 19 trips to the South. So write down number 1 and write down who it is. Okay, we're going to do Civil for 200. This was a system of secret escape routes leading to free lands in the North, in Canada, and Mexico. So what was the system of secret escape routes? That was number 2. Okay, number 3. This is the name of a person who is running away from something. So number 3, the name of a person who's running away from something. Number 4, the name given to those that opposed slavery. So what is the name given to those people that oppose slavery? Number 5, this is the decision of a state to leave the Union. The decision of a state to leave the Union. That was number 5. Okay, moving on to number 6. This is an American abolitionist who seized a weapons storehouse to help slaves rebel. He was caught and hanged. An American abolitionist who seized a weapons storehouse to help slaves rebel. He was caught and hanged. Number 7. This is a book that was written by Harriet Beecher Stowe that turned many people against slavery. It told of heartbreaking stories of slaves that were mistreated by a cruel owner. So what was the book written by Harriet Beecher Stowe that made people realize that slavery wasn't all it's cracked up to be? Number 8, this man was president of the Union. He was not an abolitionist, but he was against the spread of slavery. Who was the president of the Union? Number 9, this means to free the hands of. During the Civil War, it referred to freeing the slaves. So what vocabulary word that you have means to free the hands of or freeing the slaves? Number 10, you're halfway there. This refers to the southern states which left the Union during the Civil War. So there are southern states that left the Union during the Civil War. They pulled away. So what word is that? Number 11, you're doing an awesome job. Number 11, remember you can pause at any time. This is a Union general who, after defeating Confederate forces in Atlanta, led the March to the Sea, on which his troops caused great destruction. So this Union general came down from a state that's not far away from us, marched through Atlanta, marched to the sea in Savannah, and his troops caused great destruction to our state. Who was that Union general? Number 12. This is a place in Virginia where General Lee surrendered to General Grant. This is a place in Virginia where General Lee surrendered to General Grant. Okay, now we're on number 13. This was the name of one of the few forts in the South owned by the North. Confederates took over this fort. This battle marked the beginning of the Civil War. This was the name of one of the few forts in the South that was actually owned by the North. Confederates took over this fort, and it was a battle that marked the beginning of the Civil War. So what was the name of that battle? Okay. On 14. The name of the Confederate general who stopped the retreat at the Battle of Bull Run. He was known as a very tough general. Use those words. The name of the Confederate general who stopped the retreat at the Battle of Bull Run. He was known as a very tough general. Number 15, you're doing so well. Number 15, he was an important Union general during the Civil War. He later became the President of the United States. So this was an important Union general during the Civil War. So think of your Union generals and one that we haven't talked about yet. 16, the name of the President of the Confederate States of America. So when we split up and we were no longer united, we had the Union and the Confederate States. Who was the President of the Confederate States? All right, this is number 17, Lincoln's short speech to dedicate a cemetery for the Union soldiers who had died in the battle. The speech was only 3 minutes long. So what was the name of this speech? Number 18, this was the name of the place in West Virginia where the weapons storehouse was located that John Brown seized. Where is that place in West Virginia that John Brown seized the storehouse? He had to get some weapons ready. Number 19. The event that left much of Atlanta, Georgia, burnt to the ground. Crops were destroyed, railroad tracks were tore up, stores and homes were burned down. So what was that event called? The event that left much of Atlanta burnt to the ground. This was the name of the Confederate general who planned to lead troops to Maryland, but was stopped and defeated by Union troops in the Battle of Antietam. So think about a Confederate general who planned to lead troops to Maryland, but was stopped and defeated by Union troops in the Battle of Antietam. Okay, and that is it, guys. You just did 20 questions. If you need to go back and replay it, please do. And we will see you in the morning to check your answers. Have a wonderful night.